Hello. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day, and if not, I hope this makes your day a little bit better. If you are new here, please consider hitting the subscribe button. I take requests, I engage with my audience, and I'm nice. So, yeah, those are the reasons you should be subscribed to me right now and hitting the like button and telling me what games you want me to play because I just play a random hodgepodge of whatever I feel like playing. But with this week, I have dealt with family visiting, windows breaking, and me getting a nasty cold. So I just need to unwind for a little bit because I've missed so many recording days and just record. This is home. This is my home. I feel so good being back at the camera. Jesus, the computer. Did you come across any new information? I forgot it was Hana Sei. I thought it was what's that girl's name? Uh Sumi. The blonde hair. No, nothing at all. I did actually find out quite a few things, but I don't feel comfortable mentioning them. Honestly, it's hard to figure out the right approach for gathering information. We agreed to investigate Hope Hill Village, but we never decided on a clear direction. For example, how about the connection between what you're doing and the disappearance case I'm working on? I can tell she's a little puzzled by my statement. So it's kind of weird that she is in the first place because she's like you said, she's doing her own little investigation. Hana's doing her own little investigation. I can't remember for what, but I'm sure she'll mention it. But I think she has mentioned it to me once before. But it's about something. I think it has something to do with a family member. I think it's her father, maybe. I think I'm crossing her and Rena, but anyways, she's out here doing her own investigation and yet won't let us in. But she wants all our information. Like, you give me all your stuff, and I don't give you absolutely nothing. You have to feel a little bit bad about doing what you're doing, right, Hana? Probably not. It's Hana. We're not gonna expect Hana to feel anything at all. I had to mention the word disappearance, and her interest immediately sparked. Maybe we have something in common that she hasn't told me about yet. A connection. Well, I was going to tell you about this eventually. Would you mind taking a look at this? She gave me a whole book. Ma'am, I read all day. Like, don't do this to me. Huh? What is that? I take the notebook that Hannah hands me. It's a fairly worn notebook with a lot of stains on it. These are all my notes. Oh, wrong word. Oops, sorry. These are all my notes on the case. Like a case log? Yes. Every single detail I found is in there, but I can't talk today. Hana appears to have made up her mind. Her hesitantly from her hesitantly, excuse me, from our last meeting is gone. Hesitancy. I'm so sorry, y'all. Her hesitancy is gone from our last meeting is gone. Sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so terrible. Anyways, we're gonna keep going. And she decided to share everything. So, you finally warmed up to me? Huh? Oh, I mean, Hannah blushes a little upon hearing my playful remark. Maybe she really hasn't realized how obvious her distrust had been previously. I mean, she shocked you with a freaking, what is it called? Jesus. She had a taser. That's what it was. I'm so sorry, you guys. I'm so thrown off. I'm trying to get back in the groove of recording. Go away, Nat. I smirk a little and open the notebook. Alright, here's a summary of what Hana's notes contain. Hana's father's name is, oh my god, I'm gonna butcher these names. Tae Taekyoung. We'll go Taekyoung. Taekyoung Sei. Ran a sushi restaurant with Sang Kyung Kwang, who who's his best friend and former middle school classmate. Oh, look at them. I wish they would show their faces. It would be kind of cool. August 8th. Right before their day off, the two get into an argument. According to Taehyung, it's merely a small fight about some work-related stuff. August 9th. With the restaurant closed for the day, Hana's father, Taehyung, spends the whole day at home. Oh God, that scared me. I don't know why that scared. I think it's because it's so loud. August 10th. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. Taehyung is woken by a sound of the phone ringing. The phone call was from Sehyeon's wife. According to her, Sehyeon still hasn't come home yet. Taehyung, concerned about his friend's disappearance, goes looking for him. That was such a bad idea. Okay, so put yourself in this state of mind. Your best friend is missing. You're scared. You're shocked. You wanna go find him, right? Do you call the police or do you go looking yourself first and then call the police second? Leave it in the comment section below what you would do. But personally, I would call the police first because I don't know the first thing. First off, I'm terrible with directions. And secondly, I don't know the first thing about looking for someone who's gone. And what if he's in a really bad situation? Like, you guys got... Just think about it. He's like got some deal with the mafia. And he's like tied in with the mafia. You went looking for him. And now the mafia knows you know. So now you're in trouble. No, absolutely not. He even keeps the restaurant closed. However, Sehyeon is nowhere to be found, and the disappearance gets treated as a missing person case. 1 month later, September 11th, Hana's father, Taehyung, after the break, reopens the sushi restaurant. A regular, who appears to be a news reporter, finds out about Sehyeon's disappearance while inquiring about the temporary closure. He looks a little familiar. Up until then, it seems the reporter has assumed the reasoning for the closure was simply to take some time off. September 14th. A lot of time is passing. The reporter, while hiking along the trail he frequents, spots a shiny object a little off the beaten path. While most people would have simply overlooked it, the reporter curiosity is piqued. Jesus. Yo, no. It is a sashimi knife from Taehyung's restaurant. The blood on both blade as well as the ground around it. From that point on, everything changes rapidly. The reporter deems the case as more than just a disappearance, and reports everything to the police. Upon evidence analyst, the knife is found to be Taehyung's, and the blood on it is Sunghyung's. I don't believe that he did it. There's got to be some more evidence that we just haven't found yet. On top of that, only their fingerprints are found on the knife. Tell me it isn't so. This is what happened next. The reporter then starts to focus on the fact that the two men had an argument the day before Sehyeon's disappearance. And correct me respectfully in the comments. I am terrible with names. He focused, especially, on Taehyung's activity, around that time. The reporter digging shows that Hana's father does not have an alibi, for the day in question. I'm so sorry, y'all. I have an itch in my throat. And that he even has a past criminal record, which automatically there's nothing he can absolutely do once you got a bad record. You could do everything. You could do one thing wrong and do everything right in life, and then you mess up one time. It's like jump rope. You could have been jump roping for years, never missing a beat. Stop when you feel like it. Always on point, hydrated, everything. Doing all this stuff right. and then you trip one time, and then you're just deemed a terrible jump roper for the rest of your life. It is probably the worst feeling that a lot of people feel in life that they may not know, but that's kind of how it is. It's like you do everything right, and you mess up one time, and you're deemed a murderer, a monster, or something like that. I wish people would get the facts first before they just start believing things. He finds out that Taekyon has actually been sentenced in his past for murder. The reporter makes headlines with these findings, causing the public's opinion to become biased. And the police, pressured by all of this, are forced to treat it as a potential murder case. The reporter then keeps making multiple follow-up reports. His reports, however, are all unwarranted suspicion and proactive slander about the suspect, Taekyon. In the end, the public is all but convinced Taekyon is the culprit, and he is brought to the detention center as the main suspect. Wow. No wonder she's trying so hard to make people believe that he's not a monster, because look at how quickly they just threw him under the bus after some reporter just found a couple of things and just like, yeah, that's it. It's so bad. Didn't even bother. You go to his restaurant all the time, and you didn't even bother to go and try to take a statement from him. Maybe hearing his side would have made you come to a better conclusion, where you wouldn't just, excuse my language, damn this man for the whole entire life and ruin his whole entire life. This reveal makes things a lot more complicated. What happened to Hana's father, Taekyon, is a highly complex matter, and one that I actually happen to be familiar with. It was a widely reported case that made the news. I'm sure you've heard of it. Hana sounds bitter and defeated. I would be too. You just imagine one of your loved ones get taken away from you because somebody just decides to call him a monster, and boom, everybody believes him. Like Hana said, this case is actually quite famous. The names and details of those involved aren't well known to the public. For a short time, this case attracted massive attention. A person who served time for murder committing another murder. The type of drama people crave. It was covered by the very same journalist I respect, who helped me get back on my feet when nobody else would. Reporter, Mr. Cho. I knew it. His outline looked so familiar. Why would you do that? You're so... Hyo-seok. I always call him Mr. Cho because I always mess up the Hyo-seok part. So, forgive me. I heard about the case. You really managed to snag a big one with that. It's insane. It's the #1 story on every search engine. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. Don't you want to celebrate that? Despite my energetic excitement, Hyo-seok, or Mr. Cho, responded with the same neutral expression as always. Well, thank you, but this is just the beginning, you know. I remember how jealous I was. A reporter just like Mr. Cho chases that one big story. And although I congratulated him, I have always admired his I always admired his tenacity, blah. I'm so try. Bless me. Thank you. I never stopped thinking. Oh God, I think another one's coming. I'm good, you guys. What if I had been a regular at the sushi place? What if I had been the one to cover the case? I've asked myself that quite a lot. It's true, I envied him. I was jealous. Jealous of the report that he made Hana's father an outcast. Hana? You're 100% convinced your father is innocent. This is the important question right here. Y'all see her answer up here. It has to be real. If you're implying I only think so because we're family, stop it right now. I have a very good reason for trusting my father's alibi. I was with him. And you say with him. Were you with him during the murder, or were you with him all day type of thing? I kept my mouth shut and don't say anything. Out of admiration for Mr. Cho, I want to believe in his scoop. I want to protect his legacy. But Han is convinced it is a lot stronger than I could have ever assumed. The day that Han Seong disappeared, Hong Seong, wrong person. Sang Hyung disappeared. I was staying at home together with my father. My father usually sleeps when he's at home. He only gets up occasionally to drink some water and eat. That proves to be a problem. It's hard to claim you were at home if you can't say what you were doing, So she probably went to court and told them, like, hey, my dad was at home sleeping. How could he have possibly killed somebody? And they probably looked at her like, you're a kid. You have no idea what you're talking about. And just disregarded her whole testimony, even though it's probably true. If not downright, absolutely true. The justice system is so screwed, and it's not even in the U.S. Sucks. Ultimately, the only proof of him having been at home was my one-sided testimony. Hana is Tae Kyung's daughter, direct family. Granted, not all family testimonies are outright ignored, but there is an incredibly strict focus on clear evidence and rationality in these cases. Hana's testimony seemed to have been unconvincing. She couldn't convince them that her dad was innocent. I'm sorry. I see. So you do believe he's innocent, or rather, you actually know he is. That's why I've taken it upon myself to investigate Sang Hyung's disappearance. I'm gonna sneeze. If it turns out he's alive, then that would clearly prove that my father's innocent. I started looking into everything he's been up to. I focused on Sang Hyung's behavior, changes in his daily routine, any irregularities. I cannot speak today. Any irregularities. I found the circumstances to be highly unusual, which is what ultimately led me all the way here. Unusual circumstances? Please go ahead and check the next page. I stopped thinking about Mr. Cho for now, and instead focused on the actual case itself. Curious and armed with new insight in this case, I turned to the notebook's next page. Give me some juicy stuff. Unlike the previous well-organized entries, everything from here on seems to be scribbled and noted, and findings without a clear structure. Kind of difficult to make sense of. Let me explain. A week before disappearing, he insisted on wearing all white clothes. Oh, it isn't difficult for me at all. All these keywords stick out like a sore thumb to me. Everything resembles the case I'm chasing. He would be away on a regular basis every 2 months and has been acting strange. Has he ever mentioned anything about bathing? Bathing? I'm not sure, sorry. That's probably something he's been highly concerned about. I can't find a detailed description of the blood. The amount found at the time must have been quite small, right? I mean, they said just, a little bit of his blood and a knife, so it could have just been like he got stabbed with a knife. However, they just threw the knife on the floor, and the blood kind of fell off of the knife itself. That's right. I lift my head and look at Hannah, whose tone of voice has changed. She's looking at me with a surprised face. I wonder why. Because of the bathing story? I tilt my head a little and turn back to the notebook again. What's this part? Let me see. Oh, that's actually the map I drawn for Se-hyung's himself. See, it's a map of this area. And that sign right there, that marks where you can enter. I see. I need to sort out my thoughts for a moment. The disappearance of Tik Hyung's, I cannot say his name, I swear I can't, friend, Se-hyung's, shares an awful lot of similarities with the missing person case I'm investigating. So much so that it's pretty much the same, actually. Irregular leaving, strange behavior, an obsession with bathing or wearing white clothes, a tendency for self-harm before disappearing. I can only conclude that Se-hyung's disappearance is a piece of the puzzle of the case I am working on. Oh God, why is she so close? Hannah, I get it. We're working on something together. Please back up. You asked me about the blood stain before. So, I take it, is there something similar in our case? Hannah's voice, coming from right next to me, pulls me out of my thoughts and back to reality. Actually, she's getting a little bit too close for my liking. Yes. Yeah. There were signs of self-harm. So, the wounds were self-inflicted. Hannah looks troubled and lost in thought. Maybe it's because her father was labeled a murderer based on traces that actually stem from self-harm. I wait for her to process all this new information. Ever since I stumbled across that crime scene with you, I knew something was wrong. Something bigger than a simple disappearance. We may have a totally different case on our hands here. Got any guesses? You mentioned something about Se-hyung and a strange religion. He never stood out much. An ordinary guy, really. I only found out that he was a member of a strange cult after he went missing. Now, first of all, we need to find out if any of the missing persons we're looking for are actually here. Do you happen to remember the faces of the missing person? No, but I have a thick folder full of faces that I could probably look at. You want to compare them to the villagers around here? That's gonna be, let's say, difficult. You've wandered around Hope's Peak Hill Village. Hope's Peak. Y'all know where my mind is. Hope's Hill Village yourself. Pretty much everyone's here that walks around like they're high as a kite, right? You've got a good point there. They're hard to recognize. I doubt I'd even recognize my own family members in such a disheveled state. Now, I'm sure you can find some similarities to the people, but he's about right. If they've been missing for a long time, dedicating their life to some weird cult, it might be hard. Y'all better make sure y'all hydrated today, because I feel thirsty. I am sucking down water like crazy. Where was I at? I thought I even recognized my own family. Okay, I already read that part. Can you think of any other ways? Another way. I think about it all for a moment. Once again, I make the connection to my own case. The key word that sticks out to me is missing people or religion. Of course, if they're all part of a same religion, it would stick out the most. However, However, missing people. Well, I'm just go religion. This place, it must be where the missing people somehow gathered. All these people allowed to follow the same strange religion. That means there's got to be at least some form of management for the religion's members and followers around here. What kind of management? They need to keep a track of their members, excuse me. Even small local churches keep records of all their members, right? Is that true? I haven't been to church in years. It's not that I'm not religious, it's just I had a bad incident at church. So I've distanced myself from church. And I was always taught by my grandma that church is in your heart. So, there's that. So, but is it possible that they might have some records, or like do they keep notes? Like, do you have to sign in to church type of thing, like kind of like school type of thing? Let me know down there. Or if you're not religious at all and you don't know, just say you don't know. Even small local churches keep records of all their members, right? Oh, I get it. Hannah looks surprised. I honestly feel a little flattered. That means if we find that list, you can check if Se-hyung's name is in there. Hannah got all excited for a second, but is now back to her old composed self again. Then our next course of action has been decided. I'll check the buildings around the village outskirts. June Song. So sorry, mixed up names. You can start from the inside of the village. All right, let's do it that way. Want to meet back here once we both done with that? Excuse me. Sure. Hannah speaks. She moves closer towards me and extends her hand. I stare at her hand with a blank expression for a while, unsure if she's going for a shake. Then I awkwardly start holding her hand. It feels cold, but her hand is petite and delicate. My notes, please. He thought she wanted a handshake. June. Oh, yeah, right, here. Realizing the awkward error of my gentlemanly ways, I hurried, pulled my hand away, and gave her her notes. Trying to lighten up the mood a little? Sorry. You heard me. Anyways, bye. See you around. Hannah gets up and walks away right after asking her enigmatic. Excuse me. I was going to say energetic. I can't read today. I'm so sorry. We're going to keep going. I keep looking back at her as she leaves. It's so hot today. I'm so sorry. And after I can no longer see her, I sit down on a nearby stone. I sit there thinking about Hannah's story. Hannah says she's here to clear her father's name. I can't help but think that Mr. Cho, who played a crucial role in putting the blame on Hannah's father. I also think about the missing person. Go away. Shoot, thank you. Sorry, it's a buggy. I also think about the missing persons case that gave me back my drive and journalistic eagerness. I wanted to be a journalist when I was younger. I don't know why, because they be getting in some scary stuff, but I really wanted to be a journalist. As a deep connection to what Hannah is investigating. Any respect I had for Mr. Cho is in the past. Let me reread that. Any respect I had for Mr. Cho in the past is crumbling away. I feel a deep sense of disgust towards myself. I have so many questions about I'm so sorry, you guys. I have so many questions about what transpired. There are so many pieces of info here that I need to arrange. Dozens of thoughts and theories overlap, and I'm starting to feel dizzy. I shake my head to rid myself of that onslaught of information, one step at a time. Gotta work on this piece by piece. Mumbling to myself, I walk away from the abandoned village. Devil worship, religious cults, missing persons. This place has all the ingredients for the world's most massive headache. Ooh. And boy, it does. There's still some time left. Who should I visit? I think I'm gonna stop right there. It's been 30 minutes. I've been messing up. I'm just trying to get back in the groove of recording. Thank you guys so much. I'm sorry for my mistakes, but if you're new here and you were looking for perfection, you are on the wrong channel. There's not a perfect YouTuber who doesn't make mistakes. But anyways, thank you so much. I truly appreciate it. I'm going to get to editing this and recording another video. I love each and every one of you guys, and I want you guys to have a happy, happy day. Bye.